Hello everyone and welcome to KYE Interactive. I'm your host, Dr. Shafali Bhardwaj. On this digital platform, we have spoken to people who have dreamt big, followed their dreams and passion, rather than choosing to seek employment or do a regular 9-to-5 routine job. People who chose to do something very different, something that resonates with them. Our guest for today is Ms Priyanka Patel. So Priyanka has never been too fond of spending hours in the kitchen herself, but she has developed this love for experimenting with different kinds of food now. Her food venture, Pink Pastiche, started off with making breads, dips, tea cakes, and cheesecakes. Gradually, they moved to making meals mainly Italian and Mexican, and also some more desserts. Among the many popular products they have, cheesecakes have become extremely famous, so much so that Pink Pastiche is now a synonym to cheesecakes in Vapi. Priyanka, I welcome you to the KYE platform.
Hi, Dr. Shafali. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. How are you doing today?
I'm well too. Thank you.
It must be a great feeling, right, Priyanka, that your products are so popular that your brand name is now synonymous to the product itself, right?
Yes. So initially, it started off with only family and like close friends praising it, but then that you obviously don't trust because they are biased.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, it feels good when random people call you up and say they've heard so much about your cheesecakes.
Great. It's an absolute pleasure for us to have you here and talk to you. So, all right, without any further ado, Priyanka, I think let's just start off with the questions, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So, I'm very curious to know about your journey. When did you start? How did you think of coming up with this business? And what was your basically motivation in becoming an entrepreneur?
So I think the biggest motivation for me and a lot of others was COVID.
Oh.
Because, before COVID, I was teaching in a school. Like I was teaching basketball and I had storytelling sessions and I had different classes with kids. So, and during COVID, everything was shut. Obviously, there was no meeting anyone and definitely no schools and classes to anything to do with kids.
Yes.
So, well, I started experimenting in the kitchen. I think a lot of us had to because there was no help allowed in like a lot of societies and houses. So and then with the experiments, then gradually, people started saying your food is very good and I got a lot of praises. So I thought, why not, go ahead and make it a business and so because obviously the initial thought is, when you want to start a business, there's a lot that goes into it. And with mine, there was no that much of an initial setup cost. So that also was a big factor.
Okay.
And then gradually I started making one or two items and then kept adding. Yeah.
Great. So COVID, which a lot of people thought was a limitation, you actually turned that into an opportunity. That's great.
For me, I know a lot of people obviously lost their jobs and wasn't very well for a lot of them.
Yes, that's right. So tell me, Priyanka, what are the factors that give you a feeling of accomplishment in this venture?
When a cake turns out well, obviously, considering the profession I'm in. And, when you hear good things about your food and people praising you and overall, like when the end customer is satisfied, you feel like you've accomplished something because that is who you want to please.
That's right. And it's, I think also with the cakes and pastries, etc., that you make, you are just becoming a part of so many people's celebrations, right?
That again is a wonderful feeling.
Great. So, like how you said already that, it's many startups are not as easy because they have a lot of maybe a setup cost or whatever it can be. What were your obstacles? I mean, I'm sure any startup journey is not going to be easy. What were your barriers or what were your obstacles in your journey and how did you come over them or how did you fight them?
So the most common for like any startup is first, thinking of the raw materials, then production, packaging, marketing, like all of that on a larger scale for an entrepreneur. The same thing applied to me as well because, I could make the food, but then I didn't know how to make it look good and how to sell it.
Right.
So that was a big barrier. And even now I feel, the food can look good, I can do better. It's still like learning at every step. And other than that, the barriers.
All right. So relatively, I can say that it's been a smoother ride for you. Not a lot of barriers and obstacles.
Correct. So I think one of the major barrier is the fact that my entire family is into food. They all love eating food. So what usually happens is when I've made something, like while I'm making something, first of all, there's my daughter who loves food. She wants to become a chef when she grows up.
Wow.
So she's interested in whatever I'm doing, and it's very difficult to like keep her away from the food. So, then I realized after making good food and just making it look good to me is not the end game. I then had to like work on taking good pictures. So, working on the light and playing with the timing because I use a lot of sunlight and fresh greens in my picture, like plants and flowers. So getting those props and light and everything again was a barrier. Taking good pictures overall was a big challenge.
Right. And how did you overcome these barriers?
Trial and error. You take a good picture, and then so much so, like initially when I started off, like a lot of, a couple of my friends started telling me, I think you should do a food photography course. They were so bad, the pictures. So,
Yeah.
and but trial and error, you just experiment.
Great. Right.
So, as far as the business growing, well, obviously, like, just we started something, everyone and anyone wants to grow in the business. So, just like a lot of people who start new businesses, even I want to grow. And maybe in the next 5 years, I'll have my own small patisserie in Vapi if everything goes well.
Wow.
And yeah, I hope more and more people like to try my food and I can like start sending to Bombay because a lot of my friends are in Bombay and it's close. Vapi and Bombay are close. So hopefully I can start sending it to other cities.
Great. All the best for that. I'm sure it'll work out the way, the appreciation that you get from people in Vapi and the acceptance that you have.
In another way that I see my business growing was, if I can educate more and more people about what I'm doing, because sometimes, like Vapi is a small city, so and not everyone's fortunate enough to have traveled and like eaten different cuisines. So one of the challenges was to like first explain to them what a ravioli is, what a babka is, the authentic, this is how an authentic cheesecake tastes. So that was again, well, let's say a very fulfilling feeling because, you get to like, tell people about new things and then they want to try it and they have trust in you. So that was a very satisfying.
Okay. Great. So I want to ask this question. This is my favorite question actually. So, each time we're doing any work, whether you're working in a kind of an office or the kind of people you are with, or the kind of venture you start off, it always ends up having an impact on you as a person, right?
True.
So how do you think that a venture like this, so interesting and tasty, has had has it had an impact on you?
So, first of all, as a person, I am very punctual. So, when someone's told me they're going to come at such and such time to pick up the food and they're not there, I start getting restless, which still happens. But with the course, and it used to get to me so much so that I've also been rude to one of my clients. And that's when, I got checked by my husband and he said, you cannot talk to people like that. So I think that has been like a huge change in me. Like in the course of the past 1 year, I have learned how to like not be rude, even if people are not on time, and just be patient and like listen to whatever their excuses or whatever they had going on. Because what happens is, obviously, it's a client-facing business and you cannot be rude. Even though you are punctual, you cannot expect everyone to be the same.
Right.
So, yes, not being rude, consciously not being rude was a big challenge for me. And the other one of the big challenges, because I work in food, is to ensure that all the food is not consumed by my husband and me and my daughter. Because everything's not healthy. Like, I do make healthy things, but I wouldn't want to eat all of that on a daily basis. And I'm still struggling with it, because just yesterday I made Nutella muffins and it was with someone, and my daughter since morning, she said, can I have one? Can I have one? I mean, it's not healthy at the end of the day.
Not too much of it, right? Sometimes you can have little, right? So,
but I make it every day, so it's like every day it's in the house.
Right. So I think this is more of a challenge than the impact it has had on you, right?
Yes.
Right.
True.
Great. So, Priyanka, what are your words of wisdom for the upcoming entrepreneurs?
I would say follow your dreams, go for it. I mean, if you've thought of something, it's initially everything's tough, it's going to be. But then just keep working towards it, be patient, and if your hard work will pay off in the end.
That's great. So keep going is what you're saying. Right.
Thank you.
Right. So I'd really like to thank you, Priyanka, for coming on the KYE platform and sharing your story with all of us. I'm sure this is going to be very inspiring for a lot of viewers watching this interview. And I am definitely going to come looking for your store in Vapi whenever you open. Please keep me informed. And I wish and hope that you also have more branches, some also in Bombay, so that we can easily order your products on Swiggy and Zomato, right? So our viewers can find the link to Priyanka's social media handles in the description section below. And thank you very much for your time, Priyanka. KYE wishes you all the very best for your future endeavors and wish you a lot of success and luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.